Hi, I'm Mindy White, and this is Work in Progress. It's a podcast where we will be talking all about human development in tech. In the tech world, WIP stands for Work in Progress. It's often used for pull requests, merge requests, and sometimes even technical documentation that is still in draft mode. It's not quite finished yet. And let's be real, we are not quite finished. Humans are always in draft mode. This podcast is about the real, the messy, the human side of working in tech. I'll be talking with engineers, but also designers, product folks, customer support, coaches, and people from all over the tech world about what they are learning about, struggling with, building, and becoming. Sometimes in code, sometimes in life. But ultimately, we are not here to showcase perfection. We're here to normalize growth, share stories, and remind each other that being a work in progress is exactly where we are supposed to be. So let's commit to curiosity and jump into it. Hello, and welcome back to Work in Progress, where we are talking about human development in tech. Today, joining me is Christin Martin. You are a career changer. You are a builder. You do all sorts of stuff. I saw you on LinkedIn, and I think that's how we sort of have come across paths. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, feel free.
Yeah, well, I'm Christin. As Minnie said, I'm a career switcher from middle school reading specialist to software developer, web developer, software engineer, whatever title you want to put on that. Currently in the job market on summer breaks, so I have lots of time to focus on that. And my side project, which I share now with a group of people called BuiltInPublic, which is an open source project. It'll be a social media platform for developers to build in public and in a safe, supportive space. Yeah, that's the gist of me.
Excellent. So I didn't realize it was going to be a social media platform. I've been kind of following along, but I don't think I captured that like core essence of it. Can you tell us a little bit about like what you envision that looking like as far as, helping people build in public safely?
Yeah, so it'll be like similar to LinkedIn or Blue Sky, where you'll have a profile, but in this case, most of the posts will be tech related and so there will be a feed, people building a public, asking questions, posting their progress, an opportunity to join groups, maybe of people you want to collaborate with or are using a similar tech stack, and a place to store your projects. Yeah, so people can find you. If so, say you're doing an Next.js project and you're just starting with it. So you might search Next.js and then see projects that are being built and posts that come up with people who are using Next.js. So to get information that way, or just like asking for help, like, hey, is anyone doing a project that I could collaborate with? I want to learn this technology.
On that note, asking for help, have you thought about like having folks for mentorship, or is that kind of part of the idea is like it doesn't have to just be juniors who are, or like
Mhm.
people trying to break into the industry who are building, it's for like all levels.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, would there be mentorship opportunities?
I'm sure there could be. I don't know if they'd be like naturally forming mentorships with someone you reach out to and, hey, I like that you're building this. Can you help me? Or I see you're a software, senior software engineer. I'm just starting out. What projects might I start? Or is there a team that I could collaborate with? Yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities right now. We're just trying to get the MVP out and then build from there.
Yeah. How far along do you feel like you are? You don't have to know exactly. Just
Oh gosh.
curious.
I mean, so I do have a core team of people working on it, which is amazing. All people that I met through LinkedIn who are like, hey, this looks like a cool project. And they're really good. They know more than I do. So, especially with the back end. So we have our back end, we're using Supabase for our database and authentication. And that's pretty much built out. We just had a meeting yesterday for the MidFi um, wireframes, and hi-fi should be by the end of the week. So our focus by the end of this week is creating issues on GitHub so people who want to contribute can easily contribute. Maybe people who've never contributed to open source can go on and be like, oh, hey, this ticket says they need a left sidebar, just the UI part, not connecting the back end at all. I can do that. And then like clearly set that up. But so we're at the beginning, but we've been working on this for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think
Yeah, it's a
it's going
project.
to move fast now that like the UI is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very exciting.
That is exciting. What is the
Yeah.
core tech stack? Sorry if I missed that.
It's Next.js.
Next.js.
Yes.
Okay.
So using React, Next.js.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I had never used that before I started. I'm like, hey, I want to learn this. And so, yeah, I've been diving deep.
Yeah, I so my new code base, so I just joined a team like almost a
Yeah.
month ago as of this recording. And
Hmm.
that's all Next.js. So I'm on
Oh, that's
that
really cool.
path. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and we're
I
also
might have to
using
ask you for some tips.
Tailwind.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, you're
Um,
good.
Tailwind, which, I was just learning before this, but yeah, getting stronger and preferring Tailwind over like vanilla CSS. So that's exciting.
Do you tend to lean a little more front end as far as like your preferences?
Yeah. The first time I went to school, it was for painting and printmaking. So
Mhm.
I like that like visual gratification, like that instant gratification of like seeing it right away, where backend is so much more abstract. You sort of need to like figure out where the data's going in your head. It's not out there for you. So I'd like to be good at that though.
I went into school for graphic design originally, so you would think that I would lean a little more front end, but and I like that instant gratification, but I also really
Mhm.
just like when things click and they work together, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, I
true
definitely
too.
like yeah, the instant gratification is definitely something that I hear a lot from people or like
Oh
people
yeah.
who are design minded just like enjoy having something to look at, something that's a little bit more
Hmm.
tangible than this
Hmm.
sort of data in the ether.
Yeah, you can make something like look good. Well,
Hmm. Or try
what
to.
you think looks good and work
Oh,
on
it's good.
that. And when it's at the point where you're like, all right, this will do for now, it's
Hmm.
exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, can we talk a little bit about the inception of this project? Because I know it started with a different name. It was just you. And like, can we talk a little bit about the inception and then how that has blossomed into this open source project?
Mhm.
Or did you intend that
Yeah,
all
I had no
along?
idea. I didn't. I just was thinking, looking for a job, um, how do I stand out? So I thought, I'll build in public. And there are a lot of, people are worried about building a public, putting themselves out there open to criticism. And so that's sort of where I came up with the idea like, okay, if there's like a safe space for people to build in public and learn and be okay with making mistakes and learning from mistakes, that would be really cool. And when I thought about LinkedIn, I really like the technical posts the best.
Hmm.
And so I was like, what if there was LinkedIn with just those technical posts? That would be really cool. So I kind of was like, you know, that's what it'll be. I'll build this in public and it'll be a site for building in public, built in public, sort of like cheesy, like,
I was thinking
um,
Inception.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Yep.
Good.
But
Cool.
yeah, and I had no idea. I just was like, oh, but maybe people would want to build in public with me. And then when I reached out for contributors, people wanted to do it, but I didn't have like a plan. I had no MVP. I had just sort of, set up the repository on GitHub. Um, I kind of had a theme, but nothing really. And so it's been a lot of building from the ground up with, you know, a team of people now.
Yeah. And I mean, I have my assumptions of what drew people to the project, but do you have
Okay.
any insights of um, what drew, well, like, so you didn't have a plan, you kind of had a theme. Like, do you know why people were drawn to it out of curiosity?
I would think because it's an opportunity to contribute to open source, and since I don't know a ton, I wouldn't be judgmental if, other people didn't know a lot. So that sort of, you know, made it less intimidating
Hmm.
to contribute to, or maybe they like the tech stack. Like Andrew, one of um, the team members, he likes Supabase and he did a project with it and he wanted to work on the project to be able to work more with Supabase. So, which is
Cool.
good because he's really good.
Good. And you said that some of your team members have like a little bit more experience than you. Um, is it like a pretty broad range, or is it a lot of relatively newer folks that are helping you?
Um, I would say, well, we have people in cybersecurity, which is amazing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
um, working with people's data, you don't want to make anything vulnerable. So that's really nice. And these are people who are working towards like, finding a job in cybersecurity. So it's giving them the opportunity to work on a project. Um, one developer is working on his degree, and
Hmm.
another one is already established, in the work world or in between jobs.
Yeah.
And then we have some designers helping out. I'm not sure where they are in their career, but they're awesome.
Did they just like the look and just sort of want to be a part of it, or I guess they're all looking
I
for a way to contribute ultimately.
that could be. I don't know. I called out for. I was like, we need designers, help. And I
Yeah.
guess people felt bad for for us. We're like, okay,
No.
sure, we'll help you with the design. Or maybe they saw the design and they're like, yeah, she needs some help. Even though,
I
like,
mean, I thought it looked pretty enticing.
yeah, I like the theme. Now, was it like as accessible as it should be? Maybe not, but it was nice to
Yeah.
look at. Um, yeah,
Those are
so
lessons you learn along the way, though, so that's okay.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes building in public that I look back and I'm like, ugh. But I can't think about it too much. If I think about it too much, I'll stop doing it and question everything. So just like moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, I guess so not thinking about the icky negatives. What is your favorite part about building in public?
The people, like I love
Hmm.
it when, well, I love all the people who've like joined the core team and then other people contribute and just like interacting with people about, you know, because a lot of times I pose a question and I just like the back and forth and hearing other people's opinion, and the community aspect has really been the most fun for me.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that's where you learn the most too, because in my previous team, it was just me and one other person really. So the feedback
Mhm.
loop was very small, and
Yeah,
I trusted him, but it was at the same time hard to know, is this right? It's just one person's opinion. So
yeah,
I'm glad that you have like several people helping. I'm sure that helps a lot to
yeah,
broaden the perspective and like get a better sense of what needs to happen here, besides just
yeah,
you guessing. So that's cool. I'm really excited that you have a group of people.
yeah. And it means that I can't give up. I can't be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to my next project. I'm going to do something else now. Like, no, I'm committed now.
Yeah, so there's that layer of accountability, true.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, when we talked a little bit briefly, you mentioned that you have tons of other ideas. Do you have any others like top of mind, or is built-in public sort of your focus right now?
Built-in public is my focus.
Mhm.
On the side, I'm trying to just continue learning. Like I've mentioned in one of my posts, learning object-oriented programming because I've always
Mhm.
shied away from that.
Yeah.
Um, and, just having that foundation would be great for when I learn other languages or if I need to learn other languages. Um, I also want to try, so made a post about an interview question where they wanted me to like build a messaging app or a site
Mhm.
for messaging. And people had a lot of opinions about this take-home interview. And one that stood
I'm
out
sure.
was like, yeah, they were awesome though.
Yeah.
One that stood out was, have AI, right? Like tell them what you want, have them write the code, and then tweak it, manipulate it, make sure you know the code so you can speak on it. Um, and so actually just today I was like, you know what? I'm going to try that
Hmm.
and seeing how much faster or slower that makes building a project, having AI initially write the initial code. How many problems am I going to run into? How many bugs? Um, so I'm trying that out, not with Built-in Public, but just with another project to see
Yeah.
see what it's like.
Well, yeah, and then
See.
if AI does help you build it quickly, at least to get like that ideation stage out for like some of
Hmm.
your other ideas,
Yeah.
um, that kind of moves you along faster in some capacities. But like you said, there might be a lot of bugs, there might be a lot of
Hmm.
issues with it. I guess you just started today, so but do you have any sense or indication of like, will there be a lot of issues or not so sure yet?
I don't know. So it's just like one solid like page of code. So already
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I need to separate this into components.
Yeah.
There are a lot of dependencies that I don't have that I need to install. Um, so the setup part, I still need to set up everything. Like the code's there, but nothing's set up.
Hmm.
So I'll need to do that. Yeah, but that's as far as I've gotten, sort of like, okay, I now need to break this up.
I wonder if you could tell it that you want like components in multiple pieces that it would like give you
Yeah,
like
I
different
might do that next.
files for. Yeah.
That
Let
might
me
be
know.
faster. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
No, I think I will. When I get off this call, I'm going to be like, actually, could you put this in components? And these are the components I want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how far we've come with that. But yeah.
I
And I'm
know.
sure you'll share on LinkedIn too. So if anybody's curious, I don't know exactly when this
Yeah.
will drop, but if anybody's curious, you can check out Kristen's LinkedIn.
Yeah. My
Mic
stuff.
drop. No.
Yes.
Cool. Well, are you in the middle of learning or unlearning or trying anything else that you want to share?
Um, well, object-oriented programming,
Hmm.
learning
Yes.
that. Also, so when I started Built-in Public, it was JavaScript. And then
Hmm.
one of the developers that joined the team, Andrew, was like, you know, would you mind switching to TypeScript? So I was like, okay. And I did TypeScript in a boot camp like, a year and a half ago. I
Yeah.
used TypeScript as like, at every job, like TypeScript is sort of becoming the standard. I need to learn this. So I've been sort of going through the documentation and trying to get better and going through a Scrimba course, just knowing the ins and outs and not just like, oh, this is supposed to be a string. Okay, I'll put that. But I feel like there's so much more I don't know that I need to know,
Yeah,
more depth to
I
it.
have a couple of books I can recommend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's one by Josh Goldberg. I'm looking at some on my shelf right now. Effective TypeScript and Programming TypeScript were both really good
Mm,
too. Just sort of, let me grab this.
looking it up.
We're going to
Let's
talk about
see.
it right now. Actually, I
Yes.
think the Effective TypeScript by Dan Vanderkam. Hopefully, I said his name correctly. But that one
I see
was
the cover.
particularly good. Yeah, it's one of the
Oh,
O'Reilly
yeah,
books.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
yeah.
a
Gotcha.
I
Yes.
don't know what kind of bird this is, but it's pretty cool. They always have fun animals
So,
on the O'Reilly books.
so you have books, so you've been in the same boat as me. What are your thoughts on learning or where you're at with, do you feel like it's just like typing is natural to you or
It does seem to like, so I was working on TypeScript for the last 2 years, and
okay.
it did seem to come more naturally the more I practiced. So definitely keep practicing.
Yeah.
I will say, so my teammate that I had previously, since it was just he and I, he dove really deep into it, and he did have a lot of great feedback. So even though that feedback loop was very small, it was very beneficial.
Yeah.
I learned a
That's
lot,
good.
like about, generic types, and how do you like manipulate, I don't know, how do I want to say that? But how do you like make it as type safe as possible? Like we ended
Mhm.
up with nominal typing, which is like very
Mm,
strict typing, but
okay.
it was so beneficial because also on the side I'm working on a separate TypeScript project, and they're vastly different. So one is like
Mm,
mostly class based and doesn't have a
okay.
lot of strict typing. And then at my previous employment place, we had very strict typing, and it was also a greenfield project, whereas I joined the other project. So they were vastly different, but they've
Mm,
each taught me different things. But practicing is definitely the best way to like
yeah.
learn and start to make it feel more natural. And that's where I am now with Next. So I'm going to learn Next in the next probably few months. I'll start to get a
Learn
grasp on it a
next
little.
in the
Yeah.
next. I like it. It's
Yes.
it's nice. It's sort of like all in one place. The
Hmm.
server client side. Um, yeah, feels
Yeah, I'm
somewhat
getting used
like
to it.
yeah.
Sorry, what were you thinking?
No, it's sort of more natural than like having it separated, sort of
Hmm. Yeah, and
intertwined.
I think that also depends on how you organize your project, because I've seen some where I'm like, I don't know where things are in this code
Yeah.
base. Whereas I've also seen some where like it's pretty obvious. But again, like for instance, with that Greenfield project that I worked on, I helped set it up. So I knew where
Mm,
everything was. So that could be
yeah,
a little bit of,
that makes a
bias.
difference for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I know that you have been searching for a while now, after your boot camp. And I know that that can come with like moments of roller coastering. Would you
Uh-huh.
like to share anything about that, or any particular tips or excitement? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my boot camp had a 6 month job guarantee. Obviously, I didn't get a job and I
Hmm.
did get my money back, which was nice. But within that time, I was really applying for a lot of jobs, doing cold applying, and I was reaching out to people for, to network and people at those companies. Um, once I got my money back, that was like a month, another full-time job trying to get my money back and provide all the documentation,
I
and the
can
back and
imagine.
forth emails.
Yeah.
Um, April, I was offered a job, but it was contingent on a contract, then being awarded a contract. So again, my job search sort of slowed down, but the contract was postponed, so I don't have a start date. And since it's contingent, I'm like already assuming it's fallen through. Like, who knows? But I'm acting
Yeah.
now as though I need to apply a lot and reach out. Um, I started cold applying again. I don't even There was someone posted about cold applying and I commented, um, does anyone even get a job cold applying? And a few people responded and said, I got my job. I was like, okay,
Yeah, a few.
yeah. So never say never. I I do cold apply. I don't put as much time into it.
Hmm.
Before I would tailor my resume, tailored cover letters. When something's not working, you need to switch strategies. So
Yeah.
now I'm not really writing cover letters. If there's a blurb like, why do you want to work here? I'll write that. But I'm not doing cover letters anymore because I mean they didn't seem to get me anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is tough. It's a roller coaster. If you do get an email back and it's a rejection, like it doesn't hit me the same way as it did,
Yeah.
when I was first applying. Now it's just like, okay, next.
You've built
Um,
up your skin, your thick
yeah,
skin.
yeah. But I think also I'm fortunate that I didn't quit my teaching job, so I have income
Yeah.
coming in. Um, if I didn't, this would be a whole different conversation. But
Yeah.
I think it also is nice to have income coming in. Um, that I don't know. I can't say I can like be picky about what job because I like have only been offered that once. So I still can't be picky, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you had a magic wand and you could be picky, what sort of role would be the ideal?
I think I would want to start with front end. Um, that could like have the ability to like transition into full stack because I'm more comfortable with front end, but
Mhm.
I want to get better at back end. Like it frustrates me when I'm not proficient at something or when I something is slow and I'm struggling. Um, so, opportunities to work on back end as well, but front end definitely is my comfort zone.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Any like type of company, just out of curiosity, you don't have to have one selected, but
Uh,
just like, are there any like ideals or values that you are interested in if you again had the magic wand?
yeah. I mean, I like nonprofit. I like
Mhm.
companies that do good. Um, I also, so what the reason I went into my boot camp and being full stack, studying full stack and ultimately becoming a full stack engineer was
Mhm.
I I had a really hard year teaching. I mean, it was really pretty bad. And I was like, I do not want to teach. Like, I need to do something else. So, what does anyone do who wants to transition careers? You consult TikTok.
Mhm.
So, I was watching like TikToks and I came across like data analytics. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I could do that. I already deal with a ton of data. I, you know, I'm good at spreadsheets and I like statistics when I took it. Like I was really strong in that. I'll go that way, that route. So I started the Codecademy data analytics program,
Yeah.
um, and I was doing that. It was okay. Like it wasn't riveting, but learning SQL and working with data, like it was fun. Having it be more math based. But then I was on Instagram and uh, a site that I follow called Book Riot. Have you heard of
Mhm.
Book Riot?
I feel like I've heard of it. I'm not super familiar
Yeah.
though.
They're like sort of an independent like book site with book reviews and
Mhm.
being a reading specialist, like I'm really always like pushing reading books
Yeah.
and following all of them. And they posted, we're looking for a full stack engineer. I was like, what is that? And yeah, I want to work for them. So I'm going to find out. And I did. When I found out, I was like, that sounds so much more fun than data.
Yep.
Like I
I
could be
think so.
creative and like go back to how I originally wanted, um, being in art and visual arts, like kind of
Mhm.
getting to be creative again. And that's really fulfilling. So yeah, Book Riot can hire me.
All right, Book Riot, you heard it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
heard it here first. No, well, cool.
And a lot of people have like posted about searching for jobs on LinkedIn. Like everyone like knows what it's all about. I don't
Yeah,
have any
everybody has their
insight.
own
That's
tips and advice. Yeah. I'm meeting
exactly.
with Anna
Yeah.
tomorrow to talk about my whole story. Their stories
Oh yeah.
abound out there.
Oh
Um,
yeah, she's great. I mean, I love her posts that like
mhm.
they they sort of like, push me. I'll get a little lazy on the job search and then her like post will come up. I'm like, all right, I need to do what she said. And then I'll like go back, like amp it up to
I think she does kickboxing, so
networking.
maybe it's her way of like kicking
She
people.
does, she totally does. She kicks me
That's fun.
and
That's fun.
I amp it up, but she's great.
Yeah, she's good
Um,
people.
mhm. That's interesting. So you are going to be on an interview with her to talk about what was your postman interview like?
Oh, it was interesting. So my friend shared this job with me that she was like, "Hey, I think you might be interested." And she was like, "Why don't you talk to my manager and see if it's actually something that sounds good?" So I set up a phone call with him, and I thought it was going to be like a 15-minute, quick and easy. It turned into like an hour or more. um, and I guess
Nice.
it was a pseudo interview because then when the recruiter called, he was like, "Well, you've been greenlit for the hiring manager interview," and I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So that was a little bit unexpected, but I think that we um, created a really good connection, and I am like genuinely interested in what I'm doing now. But anyway, so I had that call with him, and then I talked to the recruiter, and my recruiter was amazing. Like we stayed in touch. He prepared for everything. But I was like, it was very refreshing
Uh,
to have somebody who was like super on my side and like, I don't know, it felt really refreshing.
this was,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
this was a recruiter you were in contact with because they were looking to find someone for the Postman specific position.
Yeah, so my friend
Okay.
referred me, and I think I gave her my resume because there's always that back end referral thing that some companies
Yeah.
offer. And then he was helping me then from that point forward. Um, I think because typically recruiters, my interpretation again is that recruiters go out and find people, whereas like if you apply, then you may not work with a recruiter in some instances. It kind of changes the way their job dynamic works. Because I've had a couple of conversations with recruiters where they're like, don't apply, or like, wait until after this point to like do the official application. It kind of just depends. So then after I talked to the recruiter, I then met with one of their seniors. Actually, he's a staff engineer on the team. And it was a technical interview, but it was more so answering questions about JavaScript, which was actually really nice because that's the core of what the project is
Mhm.
based on. It was
Okay.
actually, I was preparing for like a leak code style thing, and I was like, phew, it wasn't. But it was
Yeah.
nice to have like true questions that are plaguing them, or like things that they have come across were questions, and
Right.
I was able to answer those. So that
Oh,
helped
that's
with
very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one was a panel interview with the team. So again, they asked me questions that like they've run into, like how would you handle this situation? And then also like we got to know each other. And the one thing I really liked that they did was they asked me to bring a like piece of code that I'm either proud of, having challenges with, or like don't like and would like to rewrite, and like just
Mm.
basically talking about my code. I brought a little bit of everything, I think. They only
Okay.
wanted one, but like we just kind of talked about different things. And so then that was really good. And then there was one little like after one because one person on the team couldn't make the panel interview. So I had one little extra one at the end with just that person.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
Cool.
relatively quick because they were trying to
Yeah.
move quickly. But yeah, it was not what I expected, and it was very refreshing. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
good. That's good because you definitely hear horror stories about interviews.
for sure.
Um, so it's nice. Maybe the interviewing is shifting. Maybe companies are getting the, message that
I hope so.
we don't like that. We don't like, you know, leak code problems on the spot with the
Well, especially
pressure.
because now there's so much like so many people could easily rely on AI that like I think I read an article about a couple of people who had like they were AI augmented. They like used AI for everything and they aced the interview and they were about to hire them and then it was like, "Oh, wait." Big
Wow.
security challenges.
Yep.
I don't remember the company, so don't quote me, but I read an article about it a while ago.
Yeah.
And like between that and people do use AI and like most companies want you to use AI. So there's also a challenge of like I've heard some are shifting into like you kind of said earlier, use AI to get the gist of it and then from there like work
Hmm.
it until it works because there is something to be said for you being able to speak to it, you being
Yep.
able to change it. But yeah, I just don't think, I don't know if leak code ever was the best way to go about it because, there's so many formulas you can memorize and all that jazz.
I know.
But I
Yeah.
do think things might be changing because it's even more irrelevant now. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right. That is in an interview setting, like how much AI should I use?
Hmm.
Can I? If I do, then
Yeah, and like
they're going
take
to
home
count off.
projects, like, is there any reason you can't? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, even like to put a prompt in AI, like build me this site, you still need the background knowledge in
Yeah,
order to make it a working site. I mean, it can't, yeah, you need to know what you're doing. Someone who fresh off the street could not tell AI to make them a working site and it would work.
right.
So,
I'm with you. Um, yeah, we'll see how it changes. And if you have some interesting experiences, I'd love to hear about them. Maybe have you
Yeah.
back on later. We could talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But with all of that being said, I like to see if there's anything you'd like to leave the audience with. Like if there's one thing that they take away from this entire conversation, what would you like them to take away?
Mm, I think what I'm mostly finding now is whenever I'm feeling down or not into what I'm doing, I start a new project and or I start learning something new to sort of get my
Mhm.
motivation back up and get excited about something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just even if you're in the middle of learning something else, like just to shift it because it all works together. So, yeah, just keep learning and building and getting those creative juices flowing because that gets our dopamines firing or the
Yeah.
dopamine receptors firing.
All about that dopamine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really appreciate your
Thanks,
time
Mindy.
and thanks for coming on
Yeah.
Work in Progress.
You you too. Thanks, Mindy. It was a pleasure.
That's it for this commit of the Work in Progress podcast. If you liked it, please hit follow, leave a review, or share it with another human who's figuring things out too. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and keep showing up, even if it's still a draft. Until next time, keep iterating.